Folomov is back on the channel after a few years break with their new EDC C2. It's a very small EDC style light running a 14300 battery, a Cree XT-E LED, and produces about 525 lumens. Thanks to Folomov for sending this to me to take a quick look at. Folomov has provided a discount for this light, and that'll be in the description along with my social media channels and links, so make sure you check those both out. So this is the packaging the light came in. It's very small. It's a nice orange and gray two-tone with your stats on the side, and has a nice picture of the light that's actually pretty much to scale. On the back, you do have a runtime table here, but Amazon has put their sticker over it, so that kind of is ruined. You don't get a whole lot in terms of accessories. You get a couple extra O-rings. I like that they're orange, something different. You get a micro USB to USB-A cable. Everybody's probably got one of these. You get the light itself with the pocket clip already attached. And inside is the 14300 battery with the charging installed on it already. The naming of this light is confusing though. So to understand this, you've got to understand that in 2019, Folomov released the EDC C2. Where this gets interesting here is they're calling the new light here the Folomov EDC when it's printed on it, but the manual and their website says it's the C2. So the EDC C2. When I asked them about this, they said, yeah, same name. Obviously, they're not the same light though, so this is confusing to customers. So expect confusing stuff in the marketplace with these. So let's talk about the construction and design. The light is made from aluminum. It's anodized black with no construction or anodizing issues. The overall design is really basic. You've got a flat tail cap there. You've got a flat tail cap itself on the sides, no knurling on the body itself. Threads are just standard. You've got that orange O-ring in there. Here's the battery that we'll talk about. Like I said, 14300, 520 milliamp hours. It's got micro USB charging on the side here and is just a button top. You do get a spring in the tail cap there. As mentioned, the body has no knurling there. The clip is a press-on style that is captured. Your button stands proud. It's a little bit proud, as you can see there. Just an E-switch underneath there, nothing special. At the front, you have the, I'm gonna call it a brass bezel. It is a separate piece there. It does not unscrew easily, so I'm guessing it's glued into place there. And then you've got that TIR reflector there that is dimpled to spread out the light. Your main retention options for this light are the pocket clip here. It doesn't come with a lanyard, or if it has, I've left mine in a different room. I'll insert a picture here if it does, but you could attach that lanyard at here. There is no lanyard attachment point at the tail or no area for a split ring. So that's a little bit disappointing because I could see this being a keychain light. It's so small. Then let's talk about the pocket clip here. This is a pretty good pocket clip. It allows you to really deep carry. It is heads up carry only, which some people won't care for. Mine does not touch the body, which I don't like when that happens, but in this case, it ended up staying in my pocket no problem. The thing that I don't like is here this last flare up at the end here. I think that makes it easier to snag stuff, and that was my experience in the car. If you look at the previous model here, the end of that clip there is bent down, and I just prefer that style. It'd be an easy fix for them to make. So let's talk about the size and weight here. The length is only 42.4 millimeters. Minimum diameter of the body is 16.1 millimeters. Maximum diameter is 17 millimeters at the head. Weight with the battery and clip is 24.2 grams. The light is IPX8 water rated and drop rated to 2 meters. Just a little bit of comparison here. I've got the previous Folomov C2 EDC, and I've got the Olight i1R2 Pro. The i1R2 Pro is nearly identical in size to the newer EDC2. However, it doesn't produce nearly as many lumens as we'll see in my night shots. Let's talk LED and beam. The light is using the Cree XT-E LED, and it's a very cool white behind the TIR optic used to diffuse the light. My opal measured between 5400 and 6100 Kelvin at 77 CRI. However, to my eye, it feels like it's cooler than that. Probably closer to 6500 or maybe even 7000. The beam comes out of the TIR is fairly diffused with quite a large hotspot, creating minimal amount of flood and spill. This is a good beam in my opinion for close range EDC type tasks. You're not going to get a lot of throw here, but that's not really what this is made for. Parasitic drain here though was measured at 135 microamps, which is pretty significant. This was a problem also with the previous model, and the light actually has a slightly higher drain rate than the previous model. That said, Folomov says this light is still good for 166 days of standby, but my recommendation would be to mechanically lock it out when you're not in use. You can see it's on here. You just twist that tail cap just a hair and the button doesn't function then. There is a pretty big jump in mode spacing here, which we will see. Official output numbers are turbo at 525, high at 150, medium at 50 lumens, low at 110 lumens, and moon at 1 lumen. Okay, here are my night shots for the Folomov EDC C2, the 2022 version. This is running that Cree XTE LED, about 6,000 Kelvin. This is low mode, 10 lumens. Bumping up here is medium, 50 lumens. Decent throw for a light this small. Here is high, 150 lumens. And here is top mode, turbo at 525. You can see it's a nice beam, pretty even, no super hot spots, not a huge giant spill. Fairly nice beam, but just a fairly cool white beam as well. Here is the comparison with the older model. This is the Nisha 21A LED, 3000 Kelvin. This is turbo, 400 lumens. You can see it throws a little bit better. It's got a conventional optic, but really this is all about the beam tint to me in CRI. This is just so much more pleasant to my eyes. It's actually quite warm, but quite nice. So here is the 2022 version. You can see quite cool white, and then the 2019 version in the warm LED. And then just a little bit of another comparison. Here's the Olight i1R2 Pro, 180 lumens. Again, another cool white LED. For my heat and runtime tests, I did the usual comparing of percentages of relative output of the light, and we're measuring runtimes here. Starting in turbo, it lasted for a good 3 minutes before it steps down, dropping all the way and dropping all while the heat climbs to 45C at about the 4-ish minute mark. Turbo steps down considerably and then starts a very linear decline at about 30-minute mark. Runtime out to FL1, which is about 10%. Runtime was 1 hour 20. However, the light still produces light out to about 5 hours. It's just very, very dim, between 0 and 1% relative output. And low voltage protection kicks in here at 2.806 volts. I did the same test, but compared turbo to high, as you can see here, and high is only good for 150 lumens, so it was able to sustain this for quite a bit longer. Output here is very linear, possibly not regulated, or it doesn't make enough heat for the heat regulation to actually kick in. FL1 was out to 3 hours 20 minutes, but again, it keeps going and makes very little light out to 7 hours. So let's talk about the UI quick here. The light's got low, medium, high, and turbo all in a linear fashion. There is low, medium, high, and turbo. Turbo is part of the main mode group for this light. A double press takes you to strobe. Once in strobe, you can double press again to cycle between strobe, SOS, and beacon. Personally, I find these blinking modes unnecessary on a light that's this small, and would have preferred it to be a shortcut to turbo. To shut the light off, you have to hold for half a second here, which is my least favorite way to shut off a light, and not a ton do it, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. Moonlight mode can be activated by long pressing from off, and this is 1 lumen. As mentioned, here is the battery that the light runs on. It's a 14300 battery, capacity of 525 milliamp hours. It has that onboard micro USB-C charging. Just plug it in, you get an LED indicator at top here, red when charging, blue when full. Pretty simple to use. 14300 batteries are not common. A quick Google search tells you that they're really hard to buy online even. I asked Folomov if they were going to be selling more of these, and they said not right now, but they hope their resellers that carried the light would as well. So far, I have not found any that do that yet. Charging is slow here, which is what you want. It took 1 hour 53 minutes to charge from low voltage protection to full at 4.128 volts. Maximum charging speed I saw was about 0.26 amps, and no problems detected with the charge curve. My final thoughts on the Folomov EDC C2, the 2022 version here on top, is that it's an interesting space to be in due to its size. It's small enough yet functional that this would make a pretty good keychain light, but it doesn't have a solid mount to do that. Unlike the Olight here that's got that split ring that's attached, or this Royavon that's got the loop there, the Folomovs don't have anything like that. Unfortunately, what I loved about the older model, which is on the bottom here, is that it had a warm 3000 Kelvin high CRI Nisha 21A LED. The new light, however, uses a far inferior LED in my opinion. It's low CRI and just standard cool white. The user interface here is less useful for a light this size, and with double click going to strobe instead of turbo, I just don't get it. This light is small. You're not going to use it to blind someone practically. This is a functional light, not a protection light or tactical light at all. And I really don't know that many people use strobe or SOS for signaling on this size of light. Sure, you might use it out camping on a bigger light or something like that, but on this size, probably not. The new light is smaller, it has a better pocket clip and that nice TIR reflector. While not giving up any battery capacity, it's still plagued with the high parasitic drain though that the older model had, so I have mixed feelings on the new EDC C2. It's not bad, but I don't think the sum of its parts are an improvement for me over the outgoing model, mainly due to the LED being used here. However, I'm a tint snob and prefer warmer tints to cooler tint lights, and that's a personal preference and your opinions may vary. So let me know what you think of the Folomov EDC 2 2022 version. Folomov has provided a nice sale currently to coincide with the release of this review, and you can find that in the description below. It's about 30%, I believe, and runs till the end of March 2022. As always, guys, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next review next week. Thanks for watching.